It's the Brad and John Show.
The Brad and John Show. Today is October 1st. It's the Wednesday that the government shut down. Those nasty Republicans couldn't make a deal with the generous Democrats, so we have no more government. And as I say, the government shut down. It's just Saturday or Sunday, just like normal. Now, normally, John, what do we do in the B block? How do we start off?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
But not today, because...
Oh, what's different about today?
Well, let me just say this. It's usually the B block, the A block is about John, and the B block is about Brad, okay? But you know what? I'm the kind of guy that wants to spread things around. I don't want to take all the limelight, all the spotlight, all the credit and things like that. I want to compliment John Combest on something here, and I'm going to play something, so John, get ready to take your
Okay,
earphones.
I'm ready. My headphones are off.
Okay, but you can still hear me, correct? Okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay, John is doing audio production, and he's come a long way. Matter of fact, when I get John, if you listen on the weekend, if you listen on Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning and Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll hear The Farm Show, which John does an excellent job. I have nothing to do with that other than he just sends it to me so we can put it in the computer system so it runs on the air. He's doing all the editing, all the production stuff like that, and he's gotten real good at it. But every once in a while, when he's recording something, he'll send it to me and he'll say, Brad, I've got the voice tracks laid down. Can you edit this together? And I said, John, no problem. That happened yesterday where John sent me this voice track, which needed a little bit of editing. So, John, I want to play this back on the air. This is the promo that John put together. He's laughing.
Yeah, let's
already.
do it. I can't wait to hear it, Brad.
This is the promo that John put together that I edited. You ready for this, John? Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hi, this is John Combest, star of the morning radio show John, and that other schlub, I think his name is Brad. You probably know me from my world-famous website, johncombest.com. Yes, even Vladimir reads it every morning from Moscow. What you might not know is that I'm a longtime fan of wrestling. Yes, WWF, WWE, WCW, even wrestling at the Chase. I'm such a fan that I decided to start my own wrestling league. I call it the JCW, or John Combest Wrestling. I have my first big bout scheduled for later this year. In one corner of the hexagon, there will be Shalonda Webb, and in the other corner, it will be Angela Mosley. They trash-talked each other at Jamestown Mall. Now, they'll be going at it in the JCW hexagon. And, as an amazing undercard, their spouses will be duking it out. Don't miss this event, coming later this year at the White Castle on New Halls Ferry, just north of 270. More details at johncombest.com. And as I always say, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Buy your tickets today. johncombest.com. This message has not been paid for nor authorized by John Bosch.
Excellent job, John. And I have to tell you, I'm so proud of you starting your own wrestling league.
That's it. Now, Brad, I'm going to have to go back and listen because the sound did not come through my headphones.
Oh, it didn't. I didn't.
No, I missed that, but I bet it was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, man, I didn't press the right button. I'm trying to save your ears. Okay. Well, you'll hear it later.
You know, and that's the funny thing is the joke's on me. Like, I'm going to go through the rest of the episode not knowing that you declared me the intergender wrestling champion of the world or something, you know?
No. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't press the right button. Okay. So let's move on to my segment of the show. And what do we
Can I do the sound again, Brad? Can I sing it one more time?
Yeah, one more time. Go.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
A little sharp that time. You almost had the had it on the exact note, but not quite. Okay, we start off with.
It's number 3.
Do you know who Charlie Javis is? I say Javis. It's pronounced spelled Javice. Not Javis, but Javis.
Javis?
Javis?
No, I've never heard of him. Who is he?
Well, I'm not exactly sure if it's a dude or a dudette, because looking at the pictures and with a name like Charlie, supposedly it's a woman, but I don't know. It's a crazy story. She was featured, we'll call her Charlie. I just refer to her regular name. Charlie was featured in the last couple of years as one of the 30 under 30 for Fortune magazine. She made a huge amount of money. She started with a partner. She started a website called Frank, Frank, and Frank was this groundbreaking website where if you're going to send your kids to college, you would go to Frank, and Frank would do all the paperwork for you and automatically apply at various colleges for scholarships and things like that, okay? And she claimed, or Charlie claimed, that they had 4 million users, okay? So Jamie Dimon, you know that name well, Jamie Dimon.
Oh, yeah, former head of, well, I guess he's currently still the head of JP Morgan, and frequently his name is dropped as a potential presidential candidate. Good old Jamie Dimon.
Yes, J.P. Morgan Chase, the chairman of the board there and the head honcho, he bought the company for 9 figures. 9 figures.
Oh, no, I feel a fraud story coming up, Brad.
They got screwed because they only had, instead of having the as it came out in the due diligence, they claimed they had 4 million users. And when it came out, they only had 300,000. So after the deal was done, and it started, and the J.P. Morgan Chase people started getting into the website, going like, "Okay, we were told there's 4 million users. We can only find 300,000." So she colludes, or Charlie, whatever it is, colludes with a college professor, and they go on a website and they buy identities from a data broker online, and they put 3.6 million bought data broker names and addresses and phone numbers into the database. Oh, there's 4 million right there. Well, guess what? Charlie got caught, and Charlie is being ordered to return like $127 million, all this other kind of stuff, and 8 years in the Gray Bar Hotel for Charlie. Now, I say, and they talked about at one point in time, this is extremely embarrassing for J.P. Morgan Chase and especially for Jamie Dimon, because he was so impressed with Charlie. And once again, I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Look at the picture, John. You can look it up and you can tell me if that's a man or a woman. I'm not sure what it is. If they were so impressed,
I'll look it up.
They were so impressed with Charlie that Jamie Dimon himself sat in on the negotiations. And now he comes out and said, "Hey, man, we got screwed. We got conned." You know, I mean, yes, even the big boys get conned. So
and it appears to be. I'm sorry to interrupt, Brad. It appears to be a man that lives as a woman. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's nowadays. You know, John, I hate to say this, but when someone says someone describes a person who's transgender, in my mind, I'm going like, okay, now hold on a minute. Was it a woman that's now a man, or was a man not a woman? You know what I'm saying? It's to the point where
yeah. Well, in this case, an apparent criminal is an apparent criminal.
Right.
And what I don't get, and I'm sure this has been dissected a few times, but if I'm JP Morgan and I'm Jamie Dimon, I just trust that the people that do due diligence kick the tires enough and look under the hood enough that before you acquire a company and you get into a memorandum of understanding and before you get into any of that, the company you're acquiring has to at least show you some sort of verifiable data. And don't you have a team that goes in and actually looks at this stuff with the proverbial fine-tooth comb and says, is this a scam or not a scam?
You would think, but that apparently wasn't the case with this. It was an outright scam. And to the point where it's just a bizarre story. It's just bizarre story. And what it points out that is, John, you got a few years to that point yet, but if you've had kids who have applied for college and stuff like that, and I've had 3 of them, it gets so complicated, and the FAFSA and all this other crazy stuff, and you got to jump through hoops, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you got to write your name backwards in a mirror, and it's just crazy stuff. So I get where this was like supposedly a big deal. People go, "Oh yeah, Frank, it's this great website where you can help your kids get into college and get scholarships," but it wasn't quite what it was made out to be. So how's that, John? Okay, ready for number 2?
What a scam, Brad.
Yeah, what a scam. Number 2?
It's time for
Yes.
Brad's number 2. It's time for Brad's number 2.
Have you, by any chance, heard any of the Pete Hegseth speech yesterday he made in front of the generals? Did you hear the speech?
I did not hear any of it.
OMG. God, it was
Is it good or bad?
Oh, it was good. First off, this was what's impressive to me. If you watch it, he walks out to the podium, and there's a big American flag behind it, like, you know, sort of like the Patton thing in the movie. He walks out to the podium, and he starts his presentation at the podium. And then what you don't realize is, me being the techno guy, He's got a wireless body pack mic on, and he walks away from the podium and starts walking around on the stage off the top of his head, no teleprompter, giving an incredible oration. I have to tell you, it's probably one of the best speeches I've seen in a long time.
So he did it Oprah Winfrey style.
Oh, it was so good. I mean, if he memorized it, I'm super impressed that he memorized. It was like a 22-minute speech. But it's
Maybe it came from the heart and he didn't have to memorize anything, Brad.
You know what? That very well could be. But essentially what he said was, hey, we're not doing this anymore. He, at one point in time, matter of fact, I cut up one of the things, I put it as a promo on the station here. He essentially says something to the effect, hey, this is the way it's been for a long time, and you know what? We have to get ourselves back to the point where we are one, I'm paraphrasing, we are one tough dude, and then he quotes the F, if you want to mess with the United States, FAFO. You know
Yeah. Now, let me interrupt, Brad. Wasn't he saying something about DEI, or is that a different day?
He said it's out, throwing all that stuff out. Then
Got it. Okay, yeah. So I saw at least headlines about this.
Right, he talks about that all these overweight generals and admirals who are walking around at the Pentagon. He's essentially saying that all the officers, all the enlisted men and the officers have to pass the physical twice a year. There's no dresses on dudes. That's one of his exact comments.
That's so good.
No dresses on dudes. Because if you remember, for a while, there was video coming out of all these things they would have on the aircraft carriers where guys would dress up as women, and they would have all these, they'd be dancing and stuff like that. Essentially, what it's come down to is it sounds like the Army when my dad was in it, to the point where no screwing around. And essentially, his whole bottom line was, we are going to go back to being the most lethal force in the world. And our goal is to essentially, and he kept stressing, which I thought was good. He said, they don't want to get into wars, but he said, how do you prevent wars? Once again, I'm paraphrasing. How do you prevent wars? You have an incredible force that nobody wants to F with. And he didn't necessarily say that, but he did say some other. He said DEI's out the window, all the other crap's out the window. It was
and
interesting.
To steal a Brad Hildebrand phrase, he says the military should be made up of BAMFs, right, Brad?
Yeah, that's
right.
a
Brad Hildebrand phrase.
Right. Okay. Now, the interesting thing was he did this early in the morning, and later that morning, the ladies of The View had their opinion of what he said.
Oh, no, I bet they loved it.
They hated it. They were talking about how terrible it was, and they were talking about how bad it was that essentially he was body shaming some of the people in the military. Okay, first off, John, when you go to an NFL game, and if you're lucky enough to end up in the locker room after the game is over and the guys are taking off their clothes, how many guys do you see in there, maybe the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman, but how many guys do you see in there that are like pudgy and out of shape and couldn't go to the gym and couldn't bench press the bar with no weights on it, which is like 100 and what is the bar is?
I'll
what,
tell
90
you
pounds?
the number 0.0.
And the point being, what he's saying is, and it's like the same thing with me with police officers. I used to live in Hazelwood, okay? Not making fun of the Hazelwood cops, but there were these two Hazelwood cops that must have weighed, and I'm not exaggerating, must have weighed 350 pounds. Now, how is that possible? How are you going to be a police officer and weigh like that much? What happens if somebody is going to run away from you or somebody, I just don't get it. Anyway,
peg them with a donut. And those guys probably, when they got out of the academy, weighed a cool 200 pounds. And then, you go to Old Town Donuts 4 times a week, and look what happens.
Yeah, well, anyway, the Pete Hegseth speech was interesting. If you get a chance, watch it. You must watch it. Okay, ready for number 1?
Yeah, give it to us, Brad.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
Sometimes I make fun of St. Louis Public Radio, that they have, what was my latest count, 34 journalists?
Yeah, I think so. Journalists is in big, fat air quotes.
And man, they crank out some stuff. And every single article on their website is done by one of the 34 union journalists who are in, what did I tell you, SEIU, which I still can't figure out. By the way, Jason Rosenbaum won't respond to me anymore, so I guess he's mad at me.
Good.
But,
you're an ad salesman, and he probably thinks you're trying to sell him some ad space. Go ahead.
Like he's gonna buy any ads. Okay.
Go ahead, Brad.
Okay. They are so adept at doing this. They have such good stuff. And I refer to a story that we talked about last week and I think earlier this week. Rural America still needs fast internet. Some worry new federal plans will fall short. And this is done by a lady, one of the 34 journalists, Anna Pope. Is she on the staff? Oh,
yeah, she's not with St. Louis Public Radio.
Oh,
and I have a link up to it on my website today.
What?
Brad.
She's not with Public Radio? Who is she with, John?
No, did you scroll down?
I did. I'm making fun of this.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm being slow here. She is with Harvest Public Media, Brad. And so I have on my website today, Harvest Public Media's Anna Pope via KOSU via St. Louis Public Radio.
There's a picture with the story, and this is what's so frustrating to me. There's a picture with the story of a rural road, and you see telephone poles on both sides of the road. You see farmer's field. You see trees. And the caption on the picture is, power lines flank this northwestern Oklahoma road. Fiber optic cables can be buried in the ground, are hung like power lines, but under new guidelines from the National Telecommunications Information Administration, states are including less fiber in their proposals. Okay, once again, I got the ad this morning from Starlink. $89 for the equipment. At one point in time, the equipment was like $500 or $600. $89 for the equipment and $49 a month. Okay?
Not a bad deal, Brad. Pretty great deal.
Instead of spending all this money for putting fiber in the ground or on the telephone poles and stuff like that, just have the states call up, Elon and say, Elon, you know what? We're trying to help these people out in rural America, and we get it. Someday we'll get fiber out to them. But if we ordered 5,000 of your systems, would you give us a price break? Now, John, you've been in business before, and if someone called up Monsanto and said, I want one bottle of Roundup, you'd say, hey, go down to Home Depot and buy it. But if
they wanted a volume, we'd give them a volume discount, wouldn't we, Brad?
You'd give them a huge volume discount. Because
huge volume
You'd send it out in those big metal things with the plastic containers inside. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen those before.
Yeah, the big jugs, Brad, and not the kind that you like. I just sent a note to St. Louis Public Radio to complain because the telephone poles look like crosses. And I feel that that's quite offensive to people that don't worship the Lord and Savior. And I feel like we need something non-denominational ecumenical. Because the crosses, could they be a Catholic cross as our Lord and Savior on the cross? Is it a Protestant one that doesn't feature the Lord and Savior? You know what I'm saying? I just think it's discriminatory.
That is so funny because normally on the telephone poles they put the cross armor at the top. These are like about 10 feet down from the top, and they do look like big crosses because the picture is such in the distance you can't even see the electric lines. It does look.
You can't see the lines, Brad. Right. It feels it feels like they're pushing their Christian ideology on us.
Right. So
maybe you should bring this up with Elaine at the lunch hour. Maybe the legal roundtable can talk about it this week.
The whole thing, rural life is what makes southeast Oklahoma a great place to live. According to Chris Bailey, we have small communities, which I love. Beautiful country. We have a lot of timber industry, a lot of farming, she said. I mean, of course, I'm a little biased, but I think it's a beautiful part of the state to live in and raise your family. But in parts of this rural corner of the state, it can be hard to get high-speed internet. Unless you go online or you call up the 800 number for Starlink and say, hey, send me one of those kits, and you stick it on the side of your house. You can put it on the side of the house, and you get great quality, high-speed internet for $89 for the kit if you buy it to consumer and $49 a month. I'm sorry. I find this whole crap with the rural broadband is BS.
And Mike Elam just texted me and said he's going to continue to not giving you the marketing director's number now, Brad. He said he's going to continue to not advertise with you now that you're besmirching it. Maybe if we had better Starlink internet, our GPS would work and it wouldn't be 7:45.
John, can I call him next break?
Absolutely.
Okay,
but think intelligently about what you want to ask him about. He's had a number of events lately. He's been traveling lately, and maybe you can ask him about the fact that other candidates in his race are getting a lot of money from outside the county. Now, you seem to have a problem with it. I don't. I think it's great that everybody gets money from outside of St. Charles County. Maybe you could ask him about that.
I wish I could get money from within St. Charles County. That's what I wish.